And Shivani is, you hear a lot of people who will say, I've been nominated for a pushcart award. I've been nominated. I know other people have been nominated. He's won one, and that's an amazing thing. So this is quite a treat. He is, just like with Jonathan, this is a person that has kind of a national presence too. He also writes for the Huffington Post. You have a column he does there. And he writes and he focuses a lot on Houston poetry as well as some other things. But very, very, I think, neat because it gives international, really, exposure to Houston and the work. And, of course, through his own words and the way he does, presents them. He is a graduate of Harvard College. Well, we won't hold that against you, just so you know that, Actually, we're very proud of that. He lives in Houston, of course. And it's kind of hard to, the books he's written, there's a number of them, and I think he's brought several of them, which is kind of cool. Hopefully I'll be able to get some. Anatolia and Other Stories, The Fifth Lash and Other Stories, My Tranquil War and Other Poems, Karachi Raj, a novel, Whatever Speaks on Behalf of Hashish, poems, and Suraya, sonnets. Is that your newest one?
Yes.
Suraya, sonnets, which is kind of interesting to me because an entire book of sonnets, can you imagine that, how hard, we could spend a year, most of us, trying to knock one sonnet out and to get out, and he's got an entire book. And I've read some of the excerpts, and they're just really, really excellent work. As far as other works, he's got some books coming up next year. It's Both Sides of the Divide, Observing the Sublime and the Mundane in Contemporary Writing. And he's got a novel called A History of the Cat in 9 chapters or less. Anis's work has appeared in Western Humanities Review, New Letters, Subtropics, Gulf Coast, not related to the Gulf Coast poets, but that's UH, I believe. UH. Black Warrior Review, Boulevard, AG&I or Angeny, Georgia Review, Threepenny Review, Boston Review, Prairie Schooner, Antioch Review, Michigan Quarterly Review, Yale Review, and elsewhere. I'm sure there's a long, long list that you've got that you just haven't put down here in your biography. So quite a treat for us, I think. Enjoy them, and then after that, we're going to indulge you guys to tell us the things we don't know. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dave. Thanks, Matt. Everyone who's here. Dustin, you came. Awesome. Yeah. So I really appreciate everybody coming out here today. I completely agree. As Dave was saying about the enclaves in this city, you wouldn't expect there's so much diversity in poetry in this city, which is really amazing. Again, thanks, Matt. Thanks, Dave. And I'm really honored to be part of this reading series and to appear with Jonathan Moody. Actually, many years ago, one of the very first readings I was doing about 12 years ago, the Callaloo writing workshops up at College Station. There were some people, Jericho Brown, who's just starting out, Doug Kearney. So that was an interesting experience, and that was interesting to do stuff with them. But anyway, I would like to read a little bit from the new book, which just came out a couple of months ago, Suraya Sonnets. These are what I would call surrealist Baroque sonnets. There's 100 of them. And my poetry life is sort of divided between before Suraya. This book I wrote in the spring of 2013, and after Suraya. And one of the early books I've got here, My Tranquil War and Other Poems, that's very political and public in orientation. It's not personal, it's not lyrical, not confessional. And then after Suraya, it sort of took me in a completely different direction of experimental writing. It's a very different kind of writing. And then it led to maybe 5 or 6 more books that I've written, especially in the last year or so. 3 of which are called Confessions 1, 2, and 3. And other than Suraya, I'd like to read a little bit from Confessions 1, which is 7-line poems, 100 of them. I like 100. It's easy, you just set the target before you write the book. I'm going to write 100 and you're done, right? Because if you don't know how much you're going to write, you could get in trouble. And then another book I wrote this year called Confessions 2, which is 10-line poems, sort of abbreviated sonnets, I think of them as. And these are they pretty much follow iambic pentameter, although not very strictly so. So I'll end with reading from that. Let me start with reading from Suraya. Number 76. On a late February evening, my feathered friends descended on Fallard's glass, fecund genies of relativity. I took the genre painting out in the Haboob, bypassing the emporium of interruptions. Soraya's idée reçue was that ideograms are Earth's wheelchair signs for marked down prayer books, marquetry among Magians given to industrial espionage. The hype about long dog idiolects is lentando among jihadist koinonia, Soraya's war with horse sense, when the hostages return to Hephaestus, Hidalgos free at last of the gravy train. Even gravity is an ape with the mind of a pencil, guzzle like crabs, mossy Spanglish. 77. After a night among giant tortoises, I broke through Ghirlandaio's ghost frescoes, only a toad in gaudy Hebrew, a head of state to gondolas from glossography's courteous days. Suraya diffuses diglossia when we seven sisters blow the cortege in the set piece to Cosmopolis's irony. Criterium our cranky parents criticized for the sake of incest as ideogram. The mind as idiot board awakens a crisis of miles of music. Froideur between Soraya's frontispiece to holiday camp and the formularies of gear ratios. I borrow the flag of convenience after fiat money ends the Ibex dinner dance. 78. I grew up with mattock aimed at millibars of empressement, employability among earth mothers who lived next door to my dodo doctorate in docudrama. Labefaction comes as cheerleaders in Chinese boxes. Soraya's contact sheet humbled by the Cultural Revolution in error. Curb market for curriculums in costume dramas has indigenized couch potatoes diagrammed like Indian summer for ladybugs and lavender cotton. Soraya's lava flow swallows the laureates of laughing gas, Leviathan not fitting into any known fiscal year, fissures opening up in garrisons of immunization. 79. That was a greeting card for greyhounds caught in the Gregorian calendar, green fee our Gresham's law knew nothing about. Suraya as go-go futurologist at peace in the Fourth Estate's funhouse is as distillated as Fragile X syndrome. So don't trespass the fosse along Empyrean spirit lamps. We are flannel for ear flaps. I dream of the gawky Gatling gun, mash note you sent me, Suraya, after the mask ended on a note of purpure masjids, the purlieu around the footsie index, color-coded for my cane chair candidacy. Heredity brings forth ice-cold hepcats. I think I'll stop here with the Suraya sonnets and go to Confessions 2. These are some of the newest poems I've written this year. Number 7. I come to Truffaut's aesthetics with a boatload of fosterlings. Adoption is not my name, is not my game, under anybody's flag of convenience. Egress is by way of the blue eiderdown, the vulture's fantasiacal seclusion. We feel alone when not alone. We dive into sulfur in a sodden trailer park mode. Voix celeste, well-tempered old world, insectarium around the flame tree, brisket of brilliance. 8. The music we sightsee today, amidst the 1,001 nights thought disorder, is demilitarized. The maps drawn by chihuahuas are little boo-boos you must ignore. You could read the Anschluss or anorexia, it would be the same. The afternoon is a faithless lover. Fairy ring, you circle my melodica in desire born of burning glass, though I have not yet paid off the franchise's bad debt. I wake up to perceive your deciduous shedding. Paul Bowles said it well in The Sheltering Sky. It is a boyar's last privilege. Grandmother clock, whose hyperextension is a landslide in time, mermaids' purses hiding behind coal scuttles left from a past century, images of Merlins and Ronins as hardened as flag flying. All the ghost paraphernalia of a life well lived, stretched like a flamingo's long neck. And the last one. I keep coming back to the rhizomorph as the style least suited to my form of cancer. Memories are never recollected verbatim, at least not in my case. What stems from having a prolonged spell of kind-heartedness is loss of suzerainty. You play one practical joke after another in your years of innocence, lulled by satiety.